Yay! It's so wonderful to walk in this room and hear that music. I mean, you could hear it out in the social hall, and it just lifts my spirit. You can't hear me? It's on. All right. Good morning, everyone. I'm going to be your presider today. So the first thing I wanted to mention, or you probably saw a slide already, was to silence your phones. I need to do mine. Silence. Yay. Okay, it's off. It's interesting, we have a heaviness over on this side. We need some more. This is the fun side. Oh, all right. All right. As you know, we start our service with our land acknowledgement. Oops, I gotta. So, the Eureka Center for Spiritual Living acknowledges that the land on which we gather is the ancestral territory of the Wiyot peoples. This territory extends to the communities through most of Humboldt County, and we honor the Wiyot people today. Together, let's say our opening. We are a welcoming community where the vibration of love lifts us, the wisdom of the ages inspires us, and the science of mind teaching empowers us. I honor the path that brought you here this morning. Yay! Very good. All right, here's our announcements. There's not much happening this week, except, which is good. We've been so busy the last couple weeks that it's like, wow. But I do want to mention, and I'm not sure whether I made a slide for it, but Tuesday morning at 4 a.m., I am going to open the Zoom room, and we will do the World Peace Meditation on Zoom. Makes it a lot easier than having to get up and get dressed and drive to the center, et cetera, et cetera. But you can see that there. That's Tuesday morning, all right? Oh, I did make one. Yay. Isn't that pretty? I like finding these little images. So remember, on Zoom. And the next one. Oh, and of course, as we usually do every year, the first Saturday of the new year, we make vision boards for our year. So you're invited to come to that from 10 a.m. to 1 o'clock, Saturday, January 4th. And then we have a new class coming up, which I'm going to invite Scott up to talk about it.
The entire class consists of you trying to kick a football. Good morning. This is a project that actually Angelica brought up a couple of years ago, and we were finally able to pull it together. I want to speak just a quick moment about it and tell you why it's so powerful. Angelica, myself, and Susan, who I don't think is here today, all attended an online Zoom class based on the Grief Recovery Handbook. And I took it. There was nothing in my life at that moment. This was about a year ago, a year and a half. I took it just simply because I was interested in the topic of grief and because I was in a state of dismay about the way the world is, which sadly hasn't changed a whole lot. And I found this to be, and Angelica can speak for herself, as could Susan, I found this to be one of the most powerful classes I have ever taken. I had a really tumultuous relationship with my father. He and I were opposites. He's passed away quite a while ago. And I came out of this class with respect, love, and forgiveness for my father. So that was just what I came away with. But there were people in the class who were mourning the loss of pets, mourning the loss of relationships, mourning the loss of partners, friends, daughters, husbands. So we're going to do our own version of it. It is not the officially sanctioned version that Reverend Diane did, the woman who ran the class that we did. But it's going to start on, oh, you really can't see that very well. It's going to start on January 23rd, right after the inauguration. We figured there might be some people who have a thought or two. And it will be on anything that involves sadness, loss, disappointment, grieving. And it's a maximum of 20 people. We are opening this up to the public. So we're going to be advertising in other places. It's $99. And we will find if $99 is a barrier for you and you really need to go to this class, we'll work with you. So I don't want anybody, yes. It will be from 10 to noon. Here at the center, if we get enough of a response, we'll also add a Zoom one, but it won't be at the same, it'll probably start a few weeks later. Because like I said, we're going to advertise this on a bigger level. And you will walk away, well, as the bullet points that we came up with, it'll be on the Thursdays, yes. We will explore the topics such as understanding the grieving process, developing healthy coping mechanisms, identifying grieving moments in your life and finding ways to heal them. And again, this isn't just about loss of people. And then finding meaning after loss. It will be a very powerful, uplifting, in a weird way, because we're dealing with grief, series. And if you would like to sign up for it, you also get a copy of the book. There's a sign-up sheet over there. We'll be starting, like I said, on the 23rd. If you have additional questions, or if you know where you could put up a flyer, we'd appreciate that. And if you've at all any inclination and you don't have the answers you need, come see me. I'll be glad to answer them for you. Okay, I hope you join.
Thank you. I know it's early, this isn't until summer, but it is going to be, they're only allowing 300 and some people in this little hotel, and so they're saying, go sign up now. It's at Banff in Alberta, Canada, which is absolutely gorgeous. And the link will also be in not tomorrow's newsletter. There is no newsletter tomorrow because the first you will be getting January's newsletter. It'll be in there. But it's from August 7th to 10th. And, SOAR is like the old Asilomar, right? Only it's less days and really packed with a lot of good stuff. So I also want to mention that today is the last day. Well, actually, the 31st is the last day. But if you want to buy a book, make sure you have a look at what's still left out there. And we're asking for a donation for those books. We're closing our bookstore, in case you didn't know. Most people we've discovered are now getting it on their Kindles or what? Audible, yeah. Thank you. You read my mind. So very good. So go see if there's a book that you want to read for the new year. And of course, our little pantry is always open to receiving food. It would be really nice if we had some sort of schedule. I think I saw Lori out there filling it today, and I fill it on Mondays. And then sometimes if I come by during the week, I come in and fill it as well. But if anybody goes grocery shopping and they have some things, and you could put them right in that little box if you want to, the little pantry. But I know this lately during the holidays, it's been empty a lot. Seems like I fill it one day, the next day it's empty. Louise was telling me that she knows that sometimes the little health bars and stuff we put in there get taken possibly by school kids because she finds the wrappers in front of her yard.
And small chips and...
Yeah, little things. But that's okay. If somebody's hungry, that's what it's for, right? You know, I used to...
They're eating them, I just wish they wouldn't put the trash in my bushes.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Hey, I live next door to Cutting School. The wind blows all the wrappers into my yard. So, hey. This is the last Sunday for this year, as well as for our month of celebration. And I really want to, let's give Scott a hand for all the art that he does for our themes every month. They're really good, really good. So, to begin the spiritual part of our service, the announcements are now finished. Edward is going to do our, where is he? Oh, okay. I look up and he's not there, oh no. He's going to do our moment of peace. Thank you, Edward.
Wearing a couple of hats today, I guess. You know, I was thinking about the topic of celebration, and, this is the end of the year. A lot of people are looking at the next year with a little bit of nervousness. I choose to celebrate it. I think that I was told this is the dawning of the age of Aquarius. Aquarius is a time of peace and love, but for that to occur, there's always a catalyst. So something has to catalyze change. And I look at this year as the dawning of that age. So when I'm reading today, for those of you that are new, I read a little bit. We reflect for a few moments on that. Jackson then sings us into what we call a affirmative prayer or treatment. And from there, Jackson will sing us into bringing up our speaker, Reverend Lynn, who I love to death. So this is from the Lightworker's Source, an enlightening guide to awaken the power within. And I hope I say her name right, Savannah Arienta. As a race, we are upon a time of great change in consciousness and awareness. This is a time when we are finally aware that we can unlock the powers of the Spirit and still utilize them even though we are in physical form. As long as our consciousness is rooted in our physical bodies and physical awareness, we see things in only concrete forms, good or bad, positive or negative. This human mentality creates judgment and separation. But in the universe, there is no separation. There is only oneness. To achieve oneness, we need to place our consciousness beyond judgment and beyond separations. This is the shift that is happening now. Because of all the light energy being sent to Earth, we cannot help but elevate our collective consciousness and create this type of shift from the we to the I state of awareness, bringing the new hope of peace and love for all humankind. When the energy of the universe is balanced, it creates a lack of resources to create war, dissension, and discontent. Thus, a new wave of light was meant to save both our planet and humankind.
greatest thing in all my life is loving you. The greatest thing in all my life is loving you. I want to love you more. I want to love you more. The greatest thing in all my life is loving you.
The greatest thing in life is love. Love is the divine energy. It is the substance of all that is. It is God, our spirit, personified. And as we gather today in this sacred place of oneness, the sacred place of divine energy, divine spirit, we celebrate that which is yet to unfold. We know that it shall be what we design it to be, because we are manifestations of that divine energy. We create our reality as we go. That reality is whatever we choose it to be. And I choose this reality on behalf of myself and hopefully on behalf of all to be a wondrous and revealing energy. I look forward to all of the trials and tribulations that we may face, because I know that Earth is a learning ground. Earth is a place where we all gather to develop ourselves and our spirituality. And this is another step in that development. I know that everyone here is here because they were driven to be here. This is a calling. You have been called toward the goodness and the light. And I am so grateful for that. And as I place into divine law and energy and spirit the feeling of togetherness and the feeling of just humanness, I know that that humanness is divine. It is a part of the whole. It is a part of God. And so it is.
The greatest thing in all my life is serving you. The greatest thing in all my life is serving you. I want to serve you more. I want to serve you more. The greatest thing in all my life is serving
And with that, it is my distinct honor and privilege to welcome to the stage here one of the greatest bastions of spiritual energy that I know, Reverend Fritz.
Thank you, thank you. I want to know, did Santa jump? Hopefully, all can see this. Yes. And that is called a menorah, because I've been asked to speak on Hanukkah. May be familiar to you. Something we hear a lot about at this time of year. So I want you to think, what do I know about Hanukkah? What do I know about Hanukkah? What's another name for Hanukkah? You ever heard this before? What was that? You're cheating, though. Jewish. For those of you that may not know, it's also known as the Festival of Light. Yes. So I thought it would be only appropriate that we tune in to Dr. Ernest Holmes. So one of my favorite things about the textbook, if you've never been into the glossary, because he talks about individual topics like light. So notice what he says here. Light was the first great revelation of divine creative energy that called all living things into being. I mean, that's a pretty heavy thing, isn't it? Think about that. Light was the first great revelation of divine creative energy that called all living things into being. Let there be light, and there was light. There is healing light in the rays of the sun, which we term as physical healing, physical light. There's a healing power in the wonderful high-powered lamps that we see. But, how much greater is the healing power which Jesus recognized in himself and in all others, in us. I am the light of the world. He that followeth me shall not walk in darkness, but shall have the light of life. I have set thee to be light. I have set thee to be light. He's talking about each one of us. So the question, do I feel like light? Do I experience myself as light? So this time of year we have a number of different celebrations. Bodhi Day. Remember what date Bodhi Day is? The 8th of December, honoring Buddha. Kwanzaa, honoring what? African American culture. Solstice, we're honoring what?
The return of the sun.
We honor the darkness as we celebrate the return of the light. I am all for celebrating the return of the light. And it is also the time of the Christ Mass, what we call Christmas. And even though it's become much more commercialized, the roots, the heart, the soul of the Christ Mass was to honor the birth of Jesus, the Christ one. All those wonderful things. And we also now are coming to the end of what? The end of 2024, never to be repeated again. And we welcome the new year. We celebrate. My encouragement is that we celebrate what has been, even the challenges, and to celebrate what is coming. So I want us to think about Hanukkah. Going back to Hanukkah, our theme for this morning, Festival of Lights. I want us to imagine that we are here. Each of us have our individual way we're dressed. We have probably what we had for breakfast. We have our families, we have our vocations, or we may be retired and enjoying life at all different levels. And let's imagine people come in this door and say, hey, you cannot assemble like this any longer. In fact, they destroy or damage it so significantly, our temple here, that we can't assemble here. And they say, you can't speak your language, you have to speak our language. You have to eat the food that we value. The clothes you wear are no longer acceptable. You have to dress as we dress. Reminds me of some of the conditions we've had here in our own nation in its early history. But that is what happened when the Syrian Greeks came into the land that were occupied where the Jews were. And they said to the people, you no longer, your traditions, your way of life is no longer acceptable. So notice how you feel if that was to happen to us. What comes up for you? Fear. What else? Anger. Resentment. Rebellion. Grief. Frustrations. Huge, huh? So that was the position the Jews were in when the Syrian Greeks came in and said, it's our way. And so what happened? A group of Jewish people got together, known as the Maccabees. That's who they identified as. And they ousted out the Syrians. They took back their way of life and the things that they valued and held sacred. They took them back and said, these are who we are. And so they decided to celebrate the ending of the dark reign of Syria. Can you imagine that oppression? We would describe it as very dark, wouldn't we? Dark, oppressive. Can't be who we feel we need to be. Because even in this room, we're all very different, aren't we? Different backgrounds, different ways of doing things, different thoughts. Even though we can be of one mind, there is diversity in the one mind. That is the beauty of creation, is the diversity of the oneness. So part of that celebration, just like when we get together, one of the things we always include when we get together to celebrate is what? Food, of course, and lots of it. Drink, food, and one of the things that was happening in this era of time that we see throughout the world, because it was dark, what do you suppose we saw also? We saw bonfires and the lighting of candles and the lighting of fire. Extraordinary. And so think about the Christmas lights we see. And so there's a focus on light. So what happened is when they regained control of their own way of life, they went into the temple and they decided to restore the temple that had been left in ruins. And so they're restoring the temple, and of course they too wanted to celebrate the recovery of their way of life. And so they decided, we want to bring light into this darkness. And so they set up the menorah and decided, not the simple one-day thing, 8 days. 8 days. It's going to be very cool. But what's interesting is when they went to do that, they found this small, at the time they used oil. This is for candles, but they used oil, and they found a small amount of purified oil that would be used to light sacred light. A small amount. Wouldn't have fit for 8 days. But you know what happened? They lit that and it burned for 8 days. A miracle transpired. And so in the face of darkness, impossible situation, a miracle happen. And so that should help us to see that when we're facing darkness and it feels like things are impossible, miracles can happen. Miracles can happen. Now, and our Jewish friends, do not answer this question. Do you know what this is called? This is a menorah, but this particular part of the menorah is a shamus. So this candle, this is a very important spiritual lesson for us here. This candle lights all the other candles. So the question for us is, am I a shamus candle? Do I light others? Something for us to think about, don't you think? So every time you see a menorah, there's lots of different designs of the menorah. I encourage us to think about that, remembering the rebellion, the facing of the Assyrian Greeks. I mean, think about this. Don't you imagine that their lives were on the line? They went to battle. It was so important and significant. They went to battle. So when they won their freedom back, that's why they celebrated so heartily. 8 days of light. So the question I want us to contemplate individually as well as a group, what is the challenge, the darkness that I have faced this year? What is the darkness I have faced in perhaps this lifetime? Notice what comes up. If you're facing darkness, we talked about it, fear, anxiety, resentment, frustration, all those things when we're facing a battle come up. When the miracle happens, when we face it, we are forever changed. My bias is, and I would suggest to us, even if there is a loss of this physical being, there's a healing that transforms us because of our facing that which we feel threatened by, the darkness that feels like it's going to engulf and end our life, because we are eternal beings. Pretty heavy thing to think about, isn't it, though? What I think is very fascinating about our Jewish friends, brothers and sisters, there's a teacher, and one of the rabbis talks about the call to be light so that we learn from our facing of difficulties to go to a place that transforms us. We, as going through that, think about Ernest Holmes. The light is where? Within. And so when it comes out and emanates and causes us to move in action in the world, there's a transformation that occurs. Even if it visibly looks like what's in front of us isn't changing, what is changing? We are. We are changing. Some of the mystics in Judaism teach that every time the menorah is lit, it is from the beginning of all of creation. It's connected, that thread. So we have to ask ourselves, do I recognize I am connected to all that has been, all that will be, instead of thinking of myself just as this temporary spiritual being in a physical body? Pretty interesting, don't you think? So as we contemplate this last year, the thing of this lifetime, the things of this lifetime that it challenges us. Do you have a piece of paper? Everyone should have a piece of paper. If you don't have a piece of paper, please raise your hand, hold it up, and we'll get you paper. If you're listening by Zoom at home, I encourage you to get a piece of physical paper and a pencil or pen, and the goal is that you're writing down the things that you know to release that you've been challenged by, the things that have been fear-inspiring, the things that have been intimidating, hurtful, painful, scary. And there's something that happens to us spiritually. It's very much a spiritual principle that what we discover is when we come up against an energetic field, or what we might call a situation, and we're facing it, our tendency is to do what? Run. The opposite, or certainly a different way. And we'll try to avoid it. Distract ourselves, do anything but encounter it and face it. And what we need to remember spiritually, when we move towards it and surrender to it, we are transformed. This becomes the launching point of greater freedom, greater knowing of ourselves. And so our spiritual practice has to be one of surrender. Surrendering to the fear, surrendering to the frustration, surrendering to whatever it might be, guilt, whatever comes up for us. We surrender to it, and suddenly we are lifted energetically. So that's the practice we're going to enter into. So I'm going to have us play some music, and I want us to reflect, take time to reflect upon the things that have been challenging to us. And even though you're not going to write on this, I want you to take your mind energy and place those things that you've been challenged by and you want to release, that you want to surrender to, no matter when they are in your lifetime. Place it here. And after we go through this process, we're going to come up and place it in the water bowl. And that water causes this to dissipate. It is released and transformed. So I'm going to invite the lights down a little lower and listen to the music. I invite us to close our eyes for a moment, taking a long, slow, deep breath in as we hear the music, listening, reflecting. Let's take a long, slow, deep breath in again. Relaxing exhale. Do we have our music?
I surrender, I let go. I surrender, I let go. I surrender to my higher being. I surrender to my truth. I surrender to my higher being. I surrender to my truth. I surrender my fear. I surrender my guilt. I surrender to harmony. I'm at ease and complete.
I would invite Reverend Angelica up to stand by the bowl.
I surrender.
I will begin by releasing the things that I have decided to release.
I surrender. I let go. I surrender to my higher being. I surrender to my truth. I surrender to my higher being. I surrender to my truth. I surrender my fear.
As you feel ready, I invite you forward in silence to release. Can we keep the music going, please?
I'm at ease and complete. I surrender. I let go. I surrender. I let go. I surrender to my higher being. I surrender to my truth. I surrender to my higher being. I surrender to my truth. I surrender my fear. I surrender my guilt. I surrender to harmony. I'm at ease and complete. I surrender. I let go. I surrender. I let go.
Notice what you're feeling by surrendering, by letting go. We enter into the creation of more possibilities. We move into the space of transformation. What has been, we have released. So taking time, not only in this moment, but throughout our day and through the close of this year, contemplating, is there anything else I want to release so that I may step into harmony, that I may step into my higher consciousness, my higher way with Spirit. We take another long, slow, deep breath in. And a relaxing exhale. And as the music fades out, I just want to take a moment to reflect what an honor it is to come in together into community, where we can support each other on our spiritual journey, where we can be with each other to inspire the discovery of the higher self and new expressions. I want to thank Reverend Angelica for standing with us, for leading us in this process. I want us to take a few moments. Notice what you're feeling. Is there a word you'd like to share? Peace. Freedom. Love. Hope. Quiet. Kindness. Presence. Contentment. Truth. Reflection. Liberation. Resolve. And for those at home, take the time, just like I've encouraged us here, take the time to continue to reflect the next couple of days as we close this year. And for those at home, this beautiful rainy weather we're having, it's an opportunity to take a match outside and to light it and witness it being transformed, just like the water dissolved the paper here. The fire transforms the physical into non-physical. And no mistake about water. Water sustains us. Water heals us. Water is a symbol of spirit. It's a beautiful, beautiful analogy. So, 10,000 blessings for Eureka Center for Spiritual Living. We celebrate, do we not?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Question? Yes?
Where does that water go down?
Oh, I'll probably put it out on the rose bushes.
I just didn't want it to go flush down the toilet.
And I will tell you, I know that some of you stopped for a moment and were watching the piece of paper, and when you first put it in there, it does not dissolve immediately. And so you saw me maybe put my fingers in there and swirl it, and it's gone now. All those pieces of paper are just part of the water. Yeah. And they'll probably, that's what I did with it last year, was I put it on the roses. So, we have special music this morning with Donna. So let's give Donna a hand, and the band is helping her.
Well, I'm grateful for the fellas today. They worked really hard on this. It took us about 8 minutes. Yeah. I felt that this song was appropriate for the end of this cycle, our calendar year. Let go, let God, let the good times roll, let the power of peace fill your soul. You got spirit, let's hear it, let you hesitate. Pray, spirit, get down, come on and celebrate. No tears, no fears, no other win, no win. No haste, no waste, no looking back, my friend. Time is now, don't you hesitate. Pray, spirit, come and celebrate. Let go, let God, let the good times roll. Let the power of spirit fill your soul. You got spirit, let's hear it, don't you hesitate. Praise God, get down, come on and celebrate. No shame, no blame, no games to win or lose. Find the power of peace when you learn to choose. The time is now, don't hesitate. Pray, Spirit, come and celebrate. Let go, let Spirit, let your mind be free. Praise God, don't hesitate. Get down, come on and celebrate. Oh, let's go, let Spirit come and celebrate. Let your mind be free in gratitude. Praise Spirit, mind is now. Come on, let's go and celebrate. Let praise, praise, praise. Let go and let it celebrate. Praise Spirit, get down and celebrate. Praise Spirit, get down, celebrate. Spirit, celebrate. Yeah, yeah. They're pretty smart, these guys.
So now is our time for our sharing, our investing, I call it now, in our center and in our spiritual life. So together, let's say this affirmation. I gratefully give from the fullness of my abundance, knowing my gift blesses this center, all in it and beyond, and so it is. So we bless these tithes, gifts, offerings, investments, whatever we choose to call them. And we know that we are participating in this wonderful law of circulation. And as it goes forth from us, it comes back to us, pressed down and running over. So we celebrate being able to give and receive, and so it is. Before we do our community statement of inclusion, I wanted to mention to you that there is a new membership. Remember, we do membership by the year. We'll take them, yeah. Anyway, every year we declare membership. And I do this because, I have us do this because I've been at churches before where they had people from 20 years ago still on their membership lists, you know. So, and besides, every year you get to make a new commitment to your spiritual growth. And our theme for 2025 is our spiritual journey. So it's going to be a good year, a very good year. And this says all the things we've done. This is your membership form, and there's down here a place where you can give the board an idea of what your conscious giving is going to be so we can make our budget and our plans. Yay! All right, who wants to read our community statement of inclusion? Lori does.
Oh, it looks different. Okay. A couple things I want to mention. That's why I'm choosing to do this little announcement as well. As you know, I do the Green Minute, and I haven't done it for a while because we're pretty caught up on that. But I was at Winco the other day. My eyes are all starry because they have produce bags now that are compostable. Yay! The other thing I wanted to announce is the first Sunday of the month, I lead chanting and the meditation at 9:30, and I just want to remind people we have a new chant that deals with all of the chakras. And last night I came across this gentleman that teaches about how we can heal ourselves with humming. So I will probably talk about that as well. It's very interesting and very simple. Thanks for that. Community Statement of Inclusion. We, the Eureka Center for Spiritual Living, are a community that celebrates diversity, fosters inclusion, champions inner work, and creates space for brave, vulnerable conversations. We are a community that honors the unique emanation of God that each person embodies and advocates with people for human rights and dignity for all. We are a community that blesses each other, sees sacredness in all life, remains learners and listeners so that we may grow together, and understands that oneness is not sameness. And together we say, we know our beloved community is revealed more fully when we love each other well.
Thank you, Lori. If you would please stand now and make a big circle around the room. I'm glad so many came to the fun side finally. If you're comfortable, touch your neighbor to connect us. And the lyrics are on the screen, and I will sign it as well.
I want to thank everybody for being here this Sunday and all the Sundays of 2024. All right. We're doing good.
And we'll see you next year.
Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins with me. Yes, there is peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as our power, loved ones all are we. Yes, we walk with each other in perfect harmony. Yes, peace begins with me. Yes, this is the moment now. With every breath I take, yes, this is what joy is found. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternal.